Okay, we've laid all the groundwork. We have our critical path, our milestones, and our official schedule baseline. Now we enter the execution phase, where the focus shifts to active monitoring. This brings us to our topic, Eyes on the Prize, how we monitor schedule progress. As the text on the slide says, regular progress tracking against the approved schedule baseline is a critical part of effective project management. This isn't something we do once a month. It's a consistent, ongoing process. The image here of the project manager on site with a tablet is perfect. It captures the essence of real-time, in-the-field monitoring. To do this effectively, project managers must consistently collect and analyze several key pieces of performance data. Let's look at what those are. First, actual start and finish dates. We compare the dates when tasks actually begin and end to the dates we planned in our baseline. This is the most direct way to see if individual tasks are on schedule. Next is percent complete. This is an estimate of how much work has been finished on tasks that are currently in progress. It helps us understand the status of ongoing work. And finally, estimated time to complete. This is a forward-looking metric. Based on the progress we've made so far and the problems we've encountered, how much more time do we think it will take to finish a specific task or the entire project? The goal of collecting all this data is not just to create reports. The goal is to analyze it to ensure the project stays on track. By constantly comparing our actual performance to the baseline plan, we can spot deviations early, understand their impact, and take corrective action before they become major problems. In essence, keeping your eyes on the prize means managing the details day by day. This constant cycle of data collection and analysis is what allows a project manager to steer the project effectively and ensure that the team successfully reaches the finish line on time. So, we've established our schedule baseline and the project is underway. Now we come to the crucial question that every project manager and stakeholder asks, are we on track? To answer this objectively, we use a powerful metric called Schedule Variance, or SV. At its core, Schedule Variance is a direct comparison of our planned versus our actual schedule performance. It's a key component of a technique called earned value management, and it tells us in concrete terms if we are ahead of or behind schedule. Let's break down how it works using the figures on this slide. To calculate SV, we need two pieces of information. First, on the left, we have planned value, or PV. In this example, our PV is 80. You can think of this as the value of the work we plan to have completed by today. According to our baseline schedule, we should have completed $80 worth of work by this point. Second, in the middle, we have earned value, or EV. Here, our EV is 65. This is the value of the work we've actually completed so far. So while we planned to get $80 worth of work done, we've only accomplished $65 worth. Now we can calculate our schedule variance. The formula is simple. Schedule variance, SV, equals earned value, EV, minus planned value, PV. Using the numbers from our example, that's 65 minus 80, which gives us a schedule variance of -15. So, what does this -15 tell us? A negative SV, like we have here, means the project is behind schedule. The value of the work we've done is less than what we planned to have done. If the SV were positive, we would be ahead of schedule. If the SV were 0, we would be exactly on track. So, by calculating this simple number, we move beyond subjective feelings and get a clear, data-driven answer to the question, are we on track? In this case, the answer is no, we are behind schedule, and the variance of -15 quantifies exactly how far behind we are in terms of value. This allows us to then dig deeper and take corrective action. We've talked about collecting data and calculating metrics like schedule variance, but raw numbers can be hard to interpret. To truly understand where our project stands, we need to visualize that data. As the saying goes, seeing is believing. And that's what this is all about, turning complex data into clear, intuitive visuals. Let's look at 3 powerful ways to visualize progress and variance. First up, on the left, we have the tracking Gantt chart. This is probably the most common visualization tool. It takes our original Gantt chart and overlays the actual progress. As you can see in the description, it shows baseline bars versus actual progress bars. The lighter or thinner bar might represent the planned schedule, the baseline, while the darker solid bar shows our actual progress. This makes it incredibly easy to see on a task-by-task basis if we are ahead of, behind, or right on schedule. It clearly highlights delays or advances for each specific task. Next, in the middle, we have the S-curve. While a Gantt chart is great for task-level detail, an S-curve gives us a big picture view of the entire project. It gets its name from the typical S shape it forms. As the description says, it plots cumulative planned work, our baseline, versus cumulative actual work over time. The planned curve shows where we should be, and the actual curve shows where we are. If the actual curve is below the planned curve, we're behind schedule. If it's above, we're ahead. It's an excellent tool for providing an overall project progress view to stakeholders. Next, on the right, we have a split-screen visualization. This approach gives you the best of both worlds by combining the previous two visuals. As you can see, the left side shows the detailed Gantt chart with its baseline and actual progress bars. At the same time, the right side shows the high-level S-curve, illustrating the overall project health. This powerful combination allows a project manager to see the big picture and drill down into the specific tasks causing any variance, all in one view. By using these visualization tools, we can instantly transform rows of data into actionable insights. They make it easy for anyone, from a team member to a senior executive, to understand project status at a glance. This is how we make progress and variance tangible and easy to act upon. Okay, so our monitoring and visualizations have shown us that we have a schedule variance. We're off track. This is a critical moment in any project, and what we do next is what defines effective project management. This brings us to our process for taking corrective action, which we can break down into 3 essential steps. Step 1. Analyze the cause. The first thing we must do is resist the urge to just jump in and start making changes. We need to be methodical. We must investigate the root cause of the schedule variance. Why did this happen? It's not enough to know that we are late. We need to know why. We need to examine the underlying factors. Was it an inaccurate estimate? Did a key resource become unavailable? Was there an unexpected technical problem? A thorough diagnosis is the foundation for an effective cure. Step 2. Identify corrective actions. Once we understand the root cause, we can then determine the appropriate corrective actions to get the project back on track. This is where we develop our recovery plan. As you can see, this could involve a number of strategies. We might reallocate resources, moving people from non-critical tasks to tasks on the critical path. We could adjust assignments to better match skills to the remaining work. Or we might consider schedule compression techniques, like crashing, which means adding more resources to an activity to finish it faster. Or fast-tracking, which involves doing tasks in parallel that were originally planned to be done in sequence. The key is to choose the action that best addresses the root cause we identified in Step 1. Step 3. Communicate the plan. A brilliant recovery plan is useless if it stays in your head or on your computer. The final crucial step is to communicate. We must inform all stakeholders, the team, the project sponsor, the client, about the issues we found. We need to be transparent about the potential impacts and, most importantly, present our planned corrective actions to address the variance. This communication maintains trust, ensures everyone is aligned on the new plan, and manages expectations. It's about making sure the entire team is moving forward together in the new direction. So, to summarize, when we find ourselves off track, we don't panic. We follow a disciplined process. First, we analyze the root cause. Second, we identify the best corrective action. And third, we communicate that plan to everyone involved. This structured approach is how we steer a project back onto the path to success. Okay, let's bring everything we've just discussed together with a quick recap of the key principles of monitoring and analyzing your project schedule. These are the core activities that turn your plan into a reality. First, we have regular progress tracking. This is the foundation. As we've emphasized, consistently tracking your actual performance against the baseline is non-negotiable. It's the only way to know where you truly stand. Second, we use Schedule Variance, or SV. This is our key performance metric. It moves us beyond guesswork and helps us quantify our position with real data, telling us if we are ahead of, behind, or right on schedule. Third, we make that data easy to understand through visuals for progress. Tools like tracking Gantt charts and S-curves are essential. They translate complex numbers into intuitive visuals, making variances easy to spot and understand for the entire team and all stakeholders. And finally, when we do spot a variance, we analyze and act. This is our three-step process for getting back on track. First, analyze the root cause. Second, act decisively with a clear corrective plan. And third, communicate that plan clearly to everyone involved. All of these points lead to the most important takeaway, which is highlighted right at the bottom. Effective schedule control is an active, ongoing process, not a one-time task. You don't just create a schedule and hope for the best. It's a continuous cycle of measuring, comparing, and adjusting that you perform from the beginning of the project to the very end. This active management is what truly drives project success. And that brings us to the end of Module 5. Let's take a moment to consolidate the key learnings we've covered and look ahead at the next steps. As the slide summarizes, in this module, you've learned the fundamentals of keeping your project on schedule. This is one of the most critical skill sets for any project manager. We started with the critical path method, the technique that helps us identify the specific sequence of tasks that dictates our project's minimum duration. It tells us where we absolutely must focus to stay on time. We also covered milestones, which serve as our significant progress markers. They are the high-level signposts that allow us to track and communicate major achievements without getting lost in the day-to-day details. And finally, we establish the importance of the schedule baseline. This is the approved official version of our project schedule. It's the crucial benchmark that makes effective performance measurement and disciplined change control possible. The image here really captures the goal. When you have a solid grasp of these principles and a well-defined plan, you can manage your project with confidence and a clear view of the path forward. So, what's next? Your next step is to apply these concepts. Take the principles of CPM, milestone planning, and baseline management and integrate them into your own project planning processes. The true learning happens when you put these tools into practice. In our upcoming modules, we will build on this foundation as we explore cost management, risk analysis, and reporting. Thank you for your attention and engagement throughout this module. I'd now like to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and watch for our upcoming modules and courses.